So to kick this off, Gautam, can you give me some business metrics on on Josh Software? Time, how many years you've been in business? How big is the team? Where you guys are
Sure,
present? How many clients you guys service? Just generally some business metrics to kind of lay
sure,
out the ground for the listeners to know you and your organization based on the performance of your business, of course.
sure. So we are based out of India. Our headquarters are in India. I started this company in 2007 as a software services company specializing in outsourced product development. All right. So it's been 16 years now, and we have offices in Pune, which is a headquarters near Mumbai. We have
Mhm.
an office in Bangalore, Dev Center in Bangalore too. We have a sales office in Dallas, in Dubai, in Singapore, and recently we may also start in Riyadh. So for now, we have sales offices across the different continents, but we have development centers in India, in Pune and Mumbai. We are about 300 people now, and it didn't start like this. It started with two people, me and my co-founder. Starting as two developers, getting out of the rigmarole of corporate bubble, as I call it, trying to
Mhm.
make a difference, trying to do something different, trying to see
Yeah.
that how we can actually make mistakes on our own rather than live in a cover your ass mode in larger corporates. My personal background has been I've been a programmer, I've been a computer engineer. I passed on in the year 2000, and after 7 years started Josh in 2007. And my co-founder is about 2 years older than me, and he works as much as I talk. So
Yeah.
that has been Josh. We are currently around about a $10 million company, and we have about 64 active clients, and we've probably serviced over the last 16 years probably about maybe about 200 odd clients. And with each of our clients, it's not about the quantity, but it's about the quality. So a lot of our clients have been with us for a long time. Our
Mhm.
mean duration of a client with us has been at least about 4 to 5 years.
Mhm.
And some of our oldest customers are still with us. I mean, people who
Wow.
started with us in 2007 or 2011 or 13 are still with us and going strong. our
Wow.
business
Wow.
model our business model revolves around delivering real value, which means
So
that.
I wanted sorry for interrupting. I wanted to stop you just
Sure,
here for a second. Like,
sure.
talking about the you mentioned the 64 ongoing relationships. A lot of the clients you've been working with for like 16 years, which is amazing. Congratulations. On your website, I saw you guys deliver different services from like cloud migration to mobile development to just the general web development and data science. So when you kind of break down this clients list, right, of yours, like what are the main services that you do for them? It's like end-to-end development, or you specifically focus on some part of the work specifically?
So I have two types of customers. Okay.
Hmm.
One type of customer is a person who entrusts us with the entire technical debt.
Hmm.
Start They have a product, they have a concept, they're business people. They want
Right.
to build that product, take it to market, and ensure that it keeps sustains and keeps getting better. Okay. The second type of customer is a person who already has technology
Hmm.
strength and wants us to augment their technology strength with the value that we bring to the table. This could
Hmm.
be in the form. So let me take it step by step. My customers are only two types. These two different types are either techies or non-techies. So non-technical
Right.
customers rely on us for everything: decisions, deployments, future product roadmaps, how to scale, when, what to scale, with which feature, everything. Those
Hmm.
are the customers where we are delivering a product. Note, we don't own intellectual property. All this belongs to our customer. The second
Hmm.
one is they come and see that we have special skills in open source tech. Say, for example, in Go or in Ruby
Hmm.
or in React or Flutter.
Right.
And they
Hmm.
know about the quality of our company because of references that they have got. So they want us to help them augment their existing teams with better quality or building other features. So product
Gotcha.
management will be done by them, project management would be done by us. In both
Gotcha.
cases,
Gotcha.
we
Hmm.
deliver products. In both cases, we deliver value where the customer realizes that there is something to work with this team.
Got it.
That's why it's a
And then,
services company
yeah,
building products.
got it. Got it. Okay, makes sense. And would you say that these are more like small to mid-sized companies that you guys work with, or you service also the enterprise companies? Because as you mentioned, like building products, getting them off to the market, it's typically like a startup type of engagement, right?
We
With
have
in
both
terms of the
types.
ICP.
Yes, we
Okay.
have both types. Our ideal customer profile is somebody who has a clear idea. Our ICP is
Right.
somebody who has a clear idea
Hmm.
of a product in the market. So they have a GTM, a go to market strategy. They know what the
Hmm.
consumers want. They have done research. So I can give you ideas where I have actually told a customer, a potential customer, this idea is good. It will not sell. Don't do it.
Really? Oh,
Right.
really? You
So
did that? Yeah.
yeah. So this is I think 2000. This is since 2008 and 9. When we are struggling to survive, where it's very easy
Right.
for me to just accept work which comes our way, and
Hmm.
then the customers on their own. But this is one person who came to me in 2008 and came up with a whole big product idea. You know what? I'm going to change the way today. In 2008, he came up with an idea saying, you know what? I want to have been able to just drag and drop on the internet. This file goes there and all this stuff. And he showed me, and like, dude, have you seen Dropbox? Dropbox was a new company then. Okay.
Hmm.
And he looked at it and he said, dude, thank you. Because he would have spent at least $500,000 on this product and been
Yeah.
behind the market. There was another company at that time, a few years later. And this is interesting because I got a phone call a few days ago from a person I
Hmm.
met in 2016. And he called me telling me, dude, I want to just update you and thank you. In
For
2016,
what?
he was working he was working on with a school, with a school ERP. They were building ERP systems for schools. And he was
Okay.
working with, he was a sales guy, he's a distributor. So he was doing
Yeah.
something with this other company. And he came to me and like, to just replicate this product, copy it, and I'll be able to sell it, and I'll do it. I'm like, dude, why are you doing this? Instead of being a distributor, why don't you talk to that person and become a partner and build that product and sell it with him? And
Yeah.
this guy's telling me like, are you telling me that you're going to reject business?
Yeah.
And I said, yes, because I am not here to reinvent the wheel. I am going to work only if there is some innovation, if there is
Hmm.
some value you are adding to business, and if there's something to learn from. It must be in my area of expertise, it must be in my area of interest, and it must have some learning. So why are you doing this? I'm not here to reinvent the wheel. Go talk to that guy. He went away disgruntled, probably thinking, what an idiot. And
Yeah.
then he came back to me a month later and said, yeah, actually, I spoke to that guy. And he was like, you know what? Actually, I was searching for a partner for sales. So they joined
Wow.
hands.
Yeah.
Fast forward 8 years from 2016 till now. And he
Wow.
calls me a few days
Yeah.
ago. I came to give you an update that your advice was perfect. We were able to not only sell that system, now we are upgrading from schools. We are going to universities and colleges and building a entire ERP system for this, which is completely
Wow.
separately funded from the domain knowledge that we have. And had you not helped me out or given me this advice, even though it was detrimental to our business,
Yeah.
it has taken us to another level. And here I need some more advice from you. What do you think about, and the conversation
Yeah.
started again. So in my opinion, it goes full circle,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
customers are not always the people who just you say yes to everything. In fact, at
Hmm.
George, we end up saying no to a lot of customers. So you are asking me about what kind of customers I have. I have customers who are
Hmm.
startups, individual startups, biggest risk. But if we believe that they're onto something, not necessarily onto being a gold mine, but
Yeah.
if they're going to make a difference in society or they're going to actually make a difference, we pick it
Hmm.
up. Even if it's not going to make us money, even if it's
Interesting.
just going to cover our costs, we sometimes do it.
Hmm.
Of course, We work with large enterprises like we worked in the. I am not sure, Michael, how far I'm allowed to get names, but we are working with like India's one of the top 5 banks in India. We're working with them. We're working
Hmm.
with one of the largest media companies in India. We are
Right.
working with some of the largest logistic companies. So there are different domains that we're working in. We're working with different kinds of fintech startups, funded
Hmm.
startups, as well as large enterprises.
Hmm.
So for us, it is not about the scale or size of the company. It's
Right.
about what they are bringing to the table, what difference they're going to make, and what difference we can make to them. For me,
Hmm.
for me, and the culture of our company is such that I want our Josh customers to be proud of the product that we have built for them.
Hmm.
So it's not good enough for somebody to say, Gautam, your team did a good work, your team did well, it was work well done. That's not enough.
Hmm.
I want
Yeah.
that person to talk to others and saying, look at what a sexy product I have got.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
I
people will
love
ask
that.
him, how do you get it built? And then they push it down downstream or don't. But I want them to be proud of the product we built for them. And that seems to have actually worked well for us.
Hmm. I
We've
love
had a
that.
case where, yeah, we've had a case where one of our customers, even today, they came up to us and said, ex Deloitte, you know what? I quit my job because I wanted to make a difference in the lives of children for upgrading their value system. I'm like,
Hmm.
dude, it's tough. You can't do this. It's
Yeah.
children. They change their
Yeah.
attention span every time. I'm like, no, we'll teach them the values of sharing and caring. How do you
Hmm.
make them share their books, their toys? She ran me through her entire idea and pitch. I was like, that's interesting. Let's do it. And she says, Gautam, I have a catch. I have only this
Yeah.
limited budget. So I'm a stickler for not doing work for free. I don't do pro bono work. But that's not because
Hmm.
I can't. It's because there has to be value to the work that you put. So we did that work for her. That product
Hmm.
took off, hit COVID, crashed because schools were important, schools shut down.
Yeah.
Helped her pivot into online classrooms.
Hmm.
Post COVID, she reverted back to her old model.
Yeah.
She's actually doing really well right now.
Yeah.
So it
And she's
works
the client,
somewhere.
basically. Yeah.
So it works.
Huh. I love that.
So
So now I understand that you being a founder of the company can devise customers like that. But then how do you translate the same approach or the same vision or the same style of dealing with the customer to your team? Do you have any advices for me? Like, is your team the same innovation, product, client obsessed like you are? And if yes, is that the specific type of people that you're looking for, or you implemented some processes inside your company that allow them or enable them to be like that, or the certain philosophy inside that you share with the team?
it's a mix of both. So first, it
Hmm.
starts. I always say this. It always starts from the top. Culture in a company starts from the founders.
Hmm.
You need to have a set of core values that you believe in and that will stand true at all times.
Hmm.
Then you start building your team, and as your team starts working with you, they naturally inculcate these values. So if I start saying that one of my earliest customers, we used to work, and I've been when we started Josh, it was very easy for us to work like about 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. We didn't have a choice. Okay. At
Right.
that time, we had one of our customers whom we didn't know, right, how to choose your customers. It's very easy for me today after 16 years to tell you, you should have good customers. But when you start, you always make mistakes. This customer
Right.
came and told us, you know what? I'm working for this customer of mine. Can you just say that you worked for 175 hours
Hmm.
when we had actually worked only for about maybe 65 hours?
Right.
And I said, no, if I work for 65 hours, I will say 65 hours. He says, but we'll all make more money. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't care. Right
Okay.
now, the
Yeah.
team I was working with gets these values ingrained to them. All right, you need to have strong ethics.
Hmm.
And this starts that particular top down approach. These values turn into a process. So when people are filling in timesheet, they fill it truthfully, not because they
Mm-hmm.
want to be tracked, but because they want value for their work.
Mm-hmm.
So your customer should value your work, and the customer should get their money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
If this is something which comes from the founders, it automatically starts getting inculcated into the initial team. At Josh, our initial team is still with us. So this is our second level, second tier leadership.
Mm-hmm.
They've been with us for over 10 to 12 years, through thick
Mm-hmm.
and thin. And those values then go down to them and the people they work with and the people they
Mm-hmm.
work with. Now, these values are good, but there are also time bad habits creep in. For
Yeah.
example, when I work, naturally as a developer, my language goes berserk, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will go cursing left, right, and center up. I lose my temper a lot. I cool down fast, and I have my
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
idiosyncrasies. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
Sometimes that also percolates down.
Mm.
Sometimes it has a negative effect. When till you are like maybe about 15, 20 people, 30 people, it's like a very close knit family.
Yeah.
You know everyone, their families, you know everything about them. So nobody's intentions are ever hurt. Once you start scaling over maybe 100 odd people, then this starts creating a problem, because that time these values cannot just percolate to everyone instantly. And then
Mm-hmm.
the process kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
So these values define the process, and the
Right.
process needs to be tracked. So if
Mm-hmm.
this kind of structure, you first have your values, then you have your core people, then you set in the process, and finally you track the process, this value chain automatically percolates at scale. And we
How do
have
you
made our
track the
mistakes
process?
over time. Sorry?
How do you track the process?
Right. So this process, like for example, let me just talk about this since I spoke about timesheets. The concept of why I fill in timesheets was clear.
Mm-hmm.
Percolates down
Mm-hmm.
to a process where you have to fill in timesheets truthfully. You have somebody who will fill in timesheets, some other person
Right.
who will verify that it's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Those timesheets are transparent enough that we send it to the customer also. So if somebody has spent 2 hours attending an internal recreational event in the company, that goes in the timesheet. Customer sees that, and the customer can has the right to ask me, hey, why am I paying for these 2 hours?
Yeah. Yeah.
And my answer is like, dude, those 2 hours have reset this guy, reset this
Yeah.
developer. This person is now rejuvenated to work for you. Do you see that those are those extra 5 hours over the weekend that this person has put in without complaining? That's where it equates.
Yeah.
Right. So then this becomes a process,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody starts tracking this.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start putting these rails, guards, and yes, everyone finds some sort of loophole or the other to bypass the system.
Right.
Every time you find something, you fix it. And over time,
Mm-hmm.
this thing starts working at scale. Even today, our system is not perfect. I'm sure there'll be somebody who slips through that sieve. But if
Yeah.
90% of the people are even following the right ideology because of values or process, or
Mm-hmm.
because it's tracked, my aim is being met.
Interesting.
So it can work at scale. It's not
Mm-hmm.
easy, but it can work.
Wow. All right. Do you have any other golden nugget for me in terms of the unique thing that you are implementing on entire company level with regards to the company culture or the business that help you to get to the success where you guys are at? So you mentioned the top down approach starts from the leader. Have the values that you true believe in and you can follow at all day and night, get it back to your core team, and then use the process to share that across the entire company, and then everyone can follow that process truthfully. Love that. Anything other than that in terms of your personal or Josh's philosophies that one or several examples that is a key to to your guys' success?
Sure. Two things that I personally believe in, which also trickle down as values. One
Hmm.
is fight to make yourself redundant. Okay. And second one, don't shy away from walking the talk.
Hmm.
So start first one.
Yeah.
It is critical to make yourself redundant. Every time I'm doing something, my aim is all right, I need to figure out a way that either this process can be automated, can be delegated, or I need somebody else who's going to run this for me and I can strategize. So this is the way I decide to free my time. So by
Mm-hmm.
using the words redundant, I don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily mean I sit idle. By meaning the word redundant, I mean that we are putting in practices, processes, steps, SOPs such that I can sit on a beach sipping some cocktails and the work is getting done with a calm peace of mind. The second one is walking the talk. By saying this, I
Mm-hmm.
should actually be able to sit on the beach drinking a cocktail,
Right.
knowing that something is
Right.
really happening. So if somebody
Yeah.
challenges me, I should be able to step in and say, yeah, this is the process. So
Mm.
owning your consequences or owning the consequences of decisions and SOPs is a factor
Mhm.
to this. I have made plenty of mistakes and I'm proud of them. Not of the consequence of the mistakes, but the learnings from them. So if these few things are kept not at the top, but at the bottom, so we tell people make mistakes as often as you want. However, make new mistakes. Don't repeat
Yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
you tell them figure out a way that you can become redundant so that, so like for example, 90% of our work is all coding. If you code in such a way that you are the only person who understands that piece of code,
Yeah.
you are the
It's not
bottleneck.
redundant. Yeah, it's not
Yes, you are the
redundant.
bottleneck.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And people do this. So unfortunately, Michael, people do this as developers to write complicated code so that they believe they're indispensable. But
Mm.
in a company, nobody's indispensable.
Yeah, that's true. Even you,
So the
right? Because the company is the company.
absolutely.
Yeah.
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 So I have to build my company structure in such a way that if on my drive back home today I die, my company keeps running smoothly
Yeah.
with all the processes in place and everything in place. That's trying to make
Mhm.
myself redundant. And every time you try and get become redundant and you're idle, the next step is all right. It's already there for you. What's your next target? And you keep bringing bigger and bigger. You basically raise the bar, pick up bigger challenges.
Mhm. Got it.
So once you start in this kind of ideology at the bottom level, make yourself redundant, own the consequences, walk the talk, you
Yeah.
automatically start building a culture which comes top down and also brewing the people from bottom to come up the right way. It helps.
I love that. I love that. What would you say besides this helps to for people to stick around? You mentioned that you have some guys that have been around for 10, 12 years. Is this your personal relationship? Is this the compensation structure you've built? But generally, what influenced the tenure in the company? In your opinion?
So before I tell you what works, let me tell you what doesn't work.
Okay,
Just
all right, that
compensation.
works.
Compensation is a misnomer here. Lack
Hmm.
of money is guaranteed to demotivate people. So if you pay somebody, don't pay somebody well, it's guaranteed to demotivate them. But by paying somebody a lot of money does not mean you're motivating them,
Hmm.
right? So just by
Yeah,
saying my salaries are off the roof does not mean you have a good team. So the
right.
way to retain people in the company, okay, is to
Hmm.
scratch their itch. Different people have different trigger points. It's like
Hmm.
in Josh, we have a lot of developer talent. So
Okay.
the challenge is what keeps them going. Challenging work, pushing the limits for a lot of the developers. That's what keeps them going. It's not about working 8 hours, 9 hours. We don't even have a biometric to clock in, clock out time. We don't even measure it.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
come in at any time, people leave at any time. But there is a core working hours, maybe between 12 o'clock in the afternoon to maybe 3 o'clock. So there is a good
Right.
overlap with people. There are
Yeah.
events happening in the company. So what retains people is not compensation. People remain in the company because of a challenge, because of the
Hmm.
work culture. Today, people can walk up to me and tell me, Gautam, can you help me solve this problem? And I'll go there and help them out. While it is easier, I'm very approachable but not easily accessible. So every time somebody approaches me, I have to create distance with them. And the reason for that is that I want them to be self-sufficient and make themselves redundant. Otherwise,
Hmm.
I'll help them out. and they'll not learn. So
Right.
there has to be a right push and pull. The culture of the company is such that anyone can talk to anyone. So behave the way you want, live in a way that you want. There are activities in the office which motivate people. Very frequently, we have a lot of, also our company has a lot of sporting culture. This
Hmm.
is again some of the things that come from the top. Me and my co-founder, both of us play a lot. So I
Hmm.
play squash, I play hockey, I play cricket, I play basketball.
Hmm.
My co-founder plays badminton, he swims. And we do this so regularly that there are so many sporting activities in Josh itself that keeps
Right.
people together. The
Hmm.
team which comes together, works together, is very difficult to let go. Simple
Yeah.
things. We have a cricket team. It's India, right? So we have to have a cricket
Hmm.
team.
Yeah.
People who are on the fence, considering whether I should or should not quit. These are the
Hmm.
small things which make them stick around longer. And then over time, when they realize that, you know what, I'm being heard, the management listens to me and they take corrective measures, it works. And we don't, again, we don't get it right all the time. There are plenty of people who will probably say, you know, you took the wrong decision. I'm like, okay, I can't help it. It happens. But
Tell
the team.
tell me this. For someone like yourself who has 300 people in the company right now, we are at that level. How do you build the communication with the team that they sort of like see you as one of them and not as this boss that comes in and then whenever you give a feedback, people think that you're going to fire them because you went like generally. What's the way you build the communication with the team? Other specific meetings that you take, integration meetings or one-to-ones, or generally to be able to again build the culture where people perceive you that hey, Gautam is here, he can be there. And as you said, I love what you said, like you are easily approachable but not easily reachable, basically, right? Like tell me more how to build that operationally, how you do that.
Okay. So one thing you have to remember that the name of the company is Josh. Josh in Hindi, my mother tongue, means enthusiasm and passion.
Hmm.
Okay. As the founder, at any given time, my energy levels have to be very high. It has to exude enthusiasm, has to exude passion.
Hmm.
Whether I may have had a shitty day, whether I'm going through some personal problems, when I'm in office, people don't realize my personal issues. I'm always at a high. All right.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
is one thing that people look at and continue it. The second
Hmm.
thing at an operational level is there are two types of communication. One is formal communication and one is coffee table or whatever, grapevine communication.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like a yeah,
Corporate
like a water
communication, I
cooler
have,
type of.
right, the water cooler communication. So formal communications that we do we'll have an all hands every quarter. I will talk to different teams at different times, giving them the vision, the idea, motivation about what's working, what's
Mhm,
not working, and be super transparent with the team. So if our financials have dropped for the quarter, we say that like our financials dropped for the quarter. So be it. We lost a customer, we lost a customer. We gained customers, we gained a customer. Somebody said this, somebody said that. We keep that clear. So people have an idea about what's going on. Formal
mhm,
communication. Informal communication is of two types. One is from me to them, and the other is getting feedback or the pulse of the company. Both
mhm,
are equally important. When I am talking to people, I'm walking around, I make it a point, I don't take the shortest route. Suppose I have to go from my cabin to the restroom. I can definitely take the shortest route, but I don't.
right.
I actually
Mhm,
intentionally just go the wrong road. I'm looking at somebody, just give a smile. Somebody says hi, you talk to them, ask them one question, maybe find out it's somebody's birthday, or you have forgotten it's somebody's birthday. You just tell them, hey, it was your birthday a few days ago. How's it going? Build
yeah,
that little bit of a rapport while going somewhere. This is how you start interacting with the team on your own. Nobody
yeah,
wants to have a one-on-one, very very, because if people have one-on-one, the rest of the team is worried. What's it about?
yeah,
Is something going on?
yeah,
Right? If
yeah,
I call somebody for a one-to-one meeting,
yeah, it's
again
bad.
people are worried what's going to happen.
It's usually it's
So
bad, yeah, yeah.
sometimes you use a little bit of tactics, like for example, I want to disseminate some information. I will stand outside talking to somebody, but I'll ensure that I'm speaking just loud enough that there are like 10 people who are listening to it. So it automatically seeds. So you're
Mm,
so
mm,
basically this also helps in recall value for what I
yeah,
want to tell people, so people understand. Then you
I
find out
love
the
that.
pulse of the company. We have this concept of HR business partners. HR
Hmm.
business partners is a very standard HR concept across the
Yeah,
world.
yeah,
Personally, I don't like it,
yeah,
but concept is pretty cool. So it
yeah,
is where you have somebody you can fall back on or lean on. These are the people
yeah,
who will really be at the water coolers asking people, hey, how's it going? And they have a select group of people that they groom. They will give them information, get information, but they have only one thing on their mind: is this person happy?
yeah,
And if there is a source of unhappiness, what's it about? There have been cases where I have been told that this person has some financial trouble because they've just bought a house and they need a down payment. Okay, so call them aside, talk to them. Hey, how's it going? What's going on? And they're
yeah,
like, you know what, Gautam, actually, this is some being on my mind. They're like, "Hey, how can we help?" And you try and facilitate something. You probably get him a connect from the bank at better interest rate,
yeah,
or the company sometimes gives a interest-free loan, short-term loans, stuff like this, and you help.
yeah,
Small things matter,
mm,
right? So these small things help that person. They feel nice. They talk to 10 people about it, about how nice I feel about the company. The youngsters, absolutely, on the other hand, right? People who are fresh out of college. So we hire a lot of people out of college because these are the
hmm,
people who,
juniors.
in my opinion, are the people whom we can mold the way we need
Yeah,
them to. So they
yeah,
have the maximum enthusiasm, the maximum working capacity, and the maximum willingness to learn. But these people stick around in the company not because they stick around because they see other people, they see models, role models, and they
hmm,
want to be like you. So
hmm,
there are times where they look at other people and say, you know what, I want to be like this guy. So when we realize that these are potential role models, we groom them and train them for thought leadership or for middle management leadership, so that they are drilling down the right values to the people who they are going to
I
be
love
in touch
that.
with. Slowly, the culture of the company gets built around this. And this is how you have to ensure that communication goes in from the top formally, as well as you have informal channels and informal channels to receive feedback from the company. It's
I
very
love
easy
that.
to send a survey link to everyone.
Yeah,
Only people who are disgruntled will fill the survey. People who are happy don't care,
yeah,
right?
that's true.
And that's
Yeah,
where the surveys get it wrong.
yeah,
So you have
mm,
people connecting with people to get back get and push feedback. It works.
yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Touching base on the business side of things, the business model in generally. You mentioned that you've been in outsource and you mentioned timesheet. So, what's your current business model? How you guys are paid? And then I'm curious to learn how did it transform over the years? You know, you've been doing this for so long. Generally, is it just the increase in terms of the hourly pay, or you guys have been trying to shape it a bit, or it was so? Talk to me about that.
So in the first initial 4 to 5 years, we made a lot of mistakes trying to figure out what is the right engagement model. It's
Yeah.
natural, but it's good to make mistakes early on. What we realized was that the best value add that we put out is just in the fact that you value my time, I value your money,
Hmm.
the customer model. So the model which
Hmm.
works for us is a retainer model where it
Hmm.
eases my cash flow. I know I'm getting a monthly income. At the same time, my customer is getting more benefits from me.
Right.
So it is not about the rate of work. It's about the value that you
Mhm.
add. And of course, the rate matters based on who is working, what we're working on, what margins we are making. We have financial
Right.
dashboards which will track all this. But
Mhm.
this model of a monthly retainer makes our customers feel like, oh wow, this person is like a person of my team. It's an extended.
Mhm.
This Roche is an extended version of my company, owning all the technical knowledge, owning all the technical
Mhm.
debt. So now
Right.
they can concentrate fully on business. There are times where we have got one customer to meet another customer because there could be some cross pollination, there could be some
Yeah.
cross sales, the customers actually
Mhm.
benefit, customers learn from each other too.
Right.
So 90% of our business comes from reference. So for us, reputation is paramount.
Yeah. We're going to talk
And
about that. So just wanted to clarify. So it's a retainer-based engagement model. For the retainer, you obviously you have your margins in. Customer pays you. You pay the team. Makes sense. How often did you increase the retainer price? Like, do you guys do that regularly every year, every 2 years, every 3 years? What's the policy? Because it must have been done. Like I'm doing that regularly, right? Because the costs are growing up. So what's your
correct.
process there?
So from a contractual perspective, it is every year.
Okay.
But at the end of the year, we also gauge the pulse of our customers.
Hmm.
Some of our customers are okay with it, especially like when we work with larger enterprises. They also understand that there is going to be increase in cost. There are certain times
Yeah.
because of ups and downs, we have given a discount on our existing rate for the next year
Right. Yeah.
because it's business. We also understand the
Retain
ups
the
and downs of that.
customer.
Right.
Of course.
There are certain times the customer will come and talk to me directly. Gautam, I can't afford it. Help me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we help them out. But what goes around comes around. So in my time of
Yeah.
need, I have gone to a customer like, dude, figure it
Mhm.
out, help me with my cash flows, and people
Yeah.
have paid more sometimes. So we've had sometimes a customer paying us uh, 2 months of retainer fee in advance, and they're like, "Yeah, I understand, it's okay," and we will reciprocate in the same way. So there's a push and pull. The bottom line here, Michael, is that the relationship that is maintained between us and our customers is strong. It's
Mhm.
all relations. It's all relation and
Yeah.
reputation. So if
I
these two
love
things
that.
are maintained, your customers will always be with you. So we've had plenty of times, right? A customer finds somebody else, and
Yeah.
somebody will come and solicit them. We'll give you a 30% discount on whatever Josh is offering you,
Yeah.
blanket. And
Yeah.
we haven't lost
Got
any
it.
customer because of this, because the customer is not
Yeah.
because of us for a price war. In fact, if I do lose a customer because of price, it's
Yeah.
excellent because I don't think that
Yeah.
customer was ever ours.
Yeah. I see the value.
Right?
Yeah. Now talking
So
about the kind of unique value proposition. So something that I heard a lot from people in my network is like when you are in your line of business in a computer in a web application or just generally software development services, especially when you do outsource, it's tough to get a UVP. It's tough to negotiate. It's tough to kind of to show the value. And then you brought up an interesting subject matter in terms of okay, yeah, we do have some margins, but it always provide extra value to customers for the money they spend us. So
yeah.
can you speak to this? So what is that extra value, and then what's your approach, and what are your thoughts on the UVP general or USP in general for Josh and just generally in the industry?
Yeah. So it's in one word: specialization.
Hmm.
Okay. So when we started Josh, we were specialists in Ruby on Rails. We were
Hmm.
probably the only company in India which was exclusively a Ruby on Rails shop.
Hmm.
In 2011, we started picking up Go even before version 1.0. So in
Hmm.
2014 onwards, we were only a Ruby and a Go shop. It was that
Hmm.
specific. So once we specialized, we started finding references in customers who wanted
Hmm.
this specific expertise. Now both Ruby and
Hmm.
Go are all mainstream today. By 2017, we had taken decision to scale. So we started scaling from being technology specific to ensuring that we are able to provide good solutions. So we actually
Hmm.
evaluated and found out what are we good at in which
Hmm.
particular industry vertical. We realized that the
Hmm.
amount of work that we've done in the fintech space is insane. So we consolidated all our knowledge and put it out
Hmm.
as an offer. Like, this is what we are good at. So if I'm
Mhm.
going to say an insurance company or a bank, I am not going there to tell them how to run their business. But
Right.
when I'm talking to them, I'm giving them technology solutions to help them either reduce their costs or increase their revenue. Not because I know how to run their business, because of our past knowledge. And then while you're discussing this, these people actually realize, hey, you know what, actually this is good, but we have this kind of a problem, can you solve it? And then we help solve that problem. So at all times, it's been specialization where people have come to us for. So when we come in as people who can solve problems, we've had another keyword which we use often, very specific for Josh, called rescue missions. My
Hmm.
favorite type of customer is somebody who's tried something and failed and realized I need some specialist to do it. We've come in
Yeah.
situations where we've cleaned up an entire mess.
Hmm.
So it is, so we live in our customers' ecosystem to ensure there is business continuity, and at the same time clean up their entire ecosystem
Hmm.
and don't be the elephant in the room. So we actually
Hmm.
get out and tell them, like, you know what, handle it now. So we are not a
So you
threat to the
started with
customer.
So we started with specialization in terms of a specific language, like a core, like this is our tech, and then you move from the tech into the solutions for industry, and you say, hey, so now we're solution based. Let's say fintech is our main core focus,
Right.
and then what do you mean by a solution? So is it like just experience that you have, so you know what kind of problems to expect, or what kind of
Yes.
architecture, what kind of cloud do you use that? Just generally, what is that solution
A
for you that
combination
it
of two,
encompasses?
a combination of what you said just now. One, we have technology solutions for different problems that people face, because an insurance company or a bank, all of
Yeah.
them are in the same boat. Their business is not technology, their business is operational efficiency.
Right.
Technology helps alleviate problems in operational efficiency, and
Mhm.
technology helps solve these issues for either customer acquisition or getting better revenue or saving cost. So it's not about
Right.
the cloud, it's about how you deploy where, for what is the best use case for what kind of problem.
Yeah.
And in the technology space, so I'm not here to figure out which core banking system should work for a bank. We are here to, like, you know what, suppose you have are you stuck with a particular vendor? Like, for example,
Mhm.
there are different tools for core banking, say FlexCube, which is an
Mhm.
Oracle product, and there will be
Mhm.
other tools like this. The bank has to take a decision. All right, if we invest in this, we are stuck in it forever.
Right.
We can come
Yeah.
in and say, how about if we actually solve that problem for you and show you that you don't have a vendor lock-in?
Yeah.
And this is how these banks are be able to do it. This is what you should be doing. So
Yeah.
then they sit back and like, interesting. So there is a solution to this. So let's talk about something else. And then you start understanding their other core problems. And
Yeah.
that's how this game gets played, right?
Got it.
So we're
Got it.
trying to
When you
solve people's
mention
problem because of technology.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, no, I'm smiling because I had so many conversations where we built a database and then we moved to another database and then we
Yeah,
moved back to the previous database and then another database, and all it takes time and money, and you're like, can we not move to another database again? You know, because again the software wasn't our core at that point, so we kind of had the same problem. Or like we build the software and now we need to refactor it, and then like why we need to refactor the software that was just built, and then so it's like some of the things that me as the or rebuild the back end of it, and it's going to take a year, and me as
indeed.
the and you're like, oh, no way, so I understand, like when you have someone that has core specialization experiences into solving these exact problems for others, so you can pinpoint and you can lead the way and say, hey, this is what we're going to expect in 1-2 years. Let's not do there, let's do this, right? That would help us to solve this problem early on in the game. All right,
Yeah.
so you've mentioned when we started this conversation, you mentioned that you have multiple sales offices in Dallas, in Singapore, in other locations. What's generally how do you sell? Yeah, like, what's your sales process? Like, how big is the sales team? And generally, what are the channels that you get your leads from? You guys do a lot of trade shows. Um, Also, like you mentioned, that retention gives you a lot of like word of mouth, a lot of customers. So generally, when you look at the breakdown of your customer, what percentage comes through referral, and then what percentage you acquire directly, and then what are the main channels that really works for you in 2024 that bring you the new revenue?
Okay. So given any business, the maximum business will always come from references, because because of the trust that has been built,
Yeah.
right? You cannot always rely only on references. So the other factor which has worked maximum for us is, so I speak at a lot of events
Okay.
in India, across the world, wherever it takes me, and I travel a lot.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
wherever I am going for a speaking opportunity, and you get a chance to get on stage and talk
Hmm.
about anything, it could be a technical topic, it could be a business solutioning, but it's not. I don't talk about Josh. I never on stage. I
Right.
never talk about my company. I always talk
Hmm.
about technology. I will talk about interesting, whether I'm talking about digital disinformation, or I'm talking about perils of generative AI, or I'm talking about the problems in different languages.
Yeah. I love that.
All these kind of things attract attention. As part of that attention, people notice you and they'll come to you asking you, like, what do you do? What kind of work can you do? Can you help me? So we attend, I mean, I speak at events, and my sales team will also be attending those events. So there is somebody at the front who is actually addressing a mass audience, and then the sales team is helping close the loop on the leads there. So events has been very good for us. References, of course. The third one is social media content, not marketing.
Hmm.
So we put out interesting content mostly on LinkedIn, for which puts out the abilities of the leadership team in Josh, as well as Josh as a brand, for various different things. And
Hmm.
currently a lot of fintech work happens there. So people look at our LinkedIn, and then we get, so our ratio you mentioned is maybe about currently about 75-25. 75% of our business is still through references.
Hmm.
25% will come, very few will come directly to us and say, you know what, we want to work with you. Those are
Yeah.
brilliant. uh, but a lot of them will come from either trade shows, or they'll find out that we found some article, we wanted to discuss this particular article, and then it turns out into
Yeah.
something. But that's about
Gotcha.
25%. We have a
Okay.
sales team of about 6 people now. I have a 6 people
Hmm.
sales team. Everyone
Hmm.
has their own focus. Everyone has every We're all focusing in primarily in fintech space. So everyone has their
Hmm.
own agenda of how to approach, where to approach. There's a strategy behind it, talking points,
Their
entry points.
location, they are location based, so everyone has their own location to focus. Are they like size of the business, some enterprise, some startups, or they are like industry based or the language based? Like how do you package them
So
in
I,
terms
I
of the
give my
focus?
sales team a free run. I give my sales team a
Oh, the
free run,
freelance. Okay, so do whatever.
as long as the work is in our area of expertise, work is something in
Yeah,
the area of interest, and there's something
yeah,
which makes a difference. Otherwise, I
yeah.
don't work with it. So if
Gotcha,
somebody comes and tells
gotcha.
me, can you please manage
Yeah,
these few servers of mine, I don't do it.
yeah.
Somebody says build a
How
website, I don't do it.
what are the main metrics that you track in your sales team? Is it the sales closing, sales cycle, the total revenue per year that they make, total per contract? Like what are the metrics that you have your sales team to be accountable for? And where is the patience end for you? So where it is like, okay, we just need to be patient because it's a sales cycle or closing or
Yeah.
something, or then you say, okay, this is just not an efficient sales exec.
So there are three levels of tracking here. One is the TCV, the order book, order value.
Hmm.
Okay, for the entire contract value, the total contract value
Yeah.
that the deal
Hmm.
size, or however we put it, order
Yeah.
book, deal size, TCV, whatever we call
Yeah.
it.
Uh-huh.
So that tells us how big the contract is, how long it's going to be, right? The second metric is collection. So it's not enough just to go sell something and disappear. So you
Right.
have to ensure that the delivery is being done properly and the collections are
Yeah.
being done,
Mhm.
right? And the third metric is pure numbers. So I track these two numbers on a quarterly basis, and you set your target. So my sales team is slightly different model here. I have a sales team which tells me, like, what, this is going to be my target. Typically it will be 10x of your salary.
10x.
should,
Mhm.
should
Mhm.
The order size should be 10x of whatever you want to earn.
Yeah.
Now every
So
6 months,
10% CAC basically. Yeah.
however, you don't know, right? Because
Yeah.
you could want to go use, so they define their salary. The sales team says,
Yeah.
I want this much salary because I want to be happy. That's okay with me. So suppose, for sake of discussion, if somebody says, I want a $200,000 salary, then I'll say, all right, your order size for the year
Two
is
two
$2 million,
million. Yeah.
right? Now,
Yeah.
it's still a cost for me though. So at the end of one quarter, we evaluate where you've reached.
Hmm.
Towards the end of the second quarter, they get one chance to change their target.
Hmm.
So if you realize that, man, I think I overshot, or I can
Yeah.
probably do a lot more,
Hmm.
you can change your target once in a year. So
Gotcha.
automatically your salary gets corrected. This works
Yeah.
both
Got
ways.
it.
It works as
Yeah.
a fallback option for them in case
Hmm.
it's not been a good quarter. It also helps them. So I give incentive over above your order book,
Yeah.
right? Now
Yeah.
that becomes super interesting, because there are people who will reduce their salary to reduce their target, because they know that they can
Yeah.
actually hit higher targets. So
Yeah.
I'm
I
okay with
love
that,
that.
because it's reducing my cost right now, but
Yeah.
giving them enough firepower and enough enthusiasm to go close a big deal. So go for it.
I love that. Yeah.
So it
I love
helps
that.
it helps balance the teams. And
Tell me this.
it's a,
The metrics, the closing rate, generally, like, I heard, and for me as well, they have been down last year, this year. Have you seen the
yes.
same? What are the averages? Do you have like average that you're looking across the board that is a good benchmark considering all the things that are happening in tech?
So the thing is, I believe this year it's going to be quiet. This year,
Yeah.
lots of people are just sitting quiet, and it's primarily because nobody knows what's going to happen with the US elections. People
Hmm.
probably already know what's going to happen, but
Yeah.
we don't know which direction it's going to. Either way, it's not
Not
going to be.
all.
The way I look at it, the US elections, whoever wins, either it's Trump or Biden, it's not going to be good for the US economy. But
Yeah.
people have to wait till the elections are over, and
Yeah.
then the tide will change. Now, luckily for us, we are not dependent on the US economy.
Hmm.
We have our customers across the globe, across all the
Hmm.
continents,
Hmm.
and that helps us leverage, or that helps us, diversify our risk.
Yeah.
Having said that, everyone has this year seems to be a sentiment where people are in wait and watch mode.
Hmm.
So we suspect that this year will be status quo, but next year, post elections, business will start booming again. We are already seeing an uptrend in business right now. It's not that
Yeah.
there is no money in the market, it's actually on the
Yeah.
rise, but
Yeah.
not at the rate at which it will probably be next
It's
year.
everyone wants that, which use
Yes.
people used to every year, right? Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. Um, so something I wanted to also ask you. So I found you guys as one of the top 100 professional companies based on Clutch 2023 rating out of like 10,000 companies. You know,
Right.
you're in top 50. Congratulations, by the way. It's great.
Thank you.
So, um, how do you generate? So, two-part question. The first part question: do you generate consistently leads and business through Clutch and similar platform? And then the second part of the question is, because there are so many good companies like yourself being ranked so high on the ratings, the companies that are just starting out or they didn't do Clutch and other ratings before, does it make sense to go and compete against someone like you in the category, or they already lost their their place in those, and there's no way, it doesn't make sense ROI wise to go there?
So again, one word, Michael: specialization. So the
Hmm.
reason we actually rose in the ranks there is not because we've been in Clutch for a long time. In fact, I don't think we've been in Clutch for more than 3-4 years. What happens
Hmm.
is that our customer relationships were strong enough for us to tell our customers, so please fill this survey on Clutch. And Clutch
Hmm.
contacts them directly and gets their customer ratings and puts it up there. We know
Yeah.
when we are doing a good job, our customers are going to speak well about us. And that's what helps our rating go up. So whether you're a big company, a small company, whether you're starting up now or whether you've been in the business. So imagine, for 16 years, we've been on Clutch probably only for the last 3, maybe 4 years. Maybe 3, 4
Hmm.
years, that's it. But the value that you add matters. So somewhere down the line, somehow, if you are good, you will automatically trickle to the top.
Hmm.
You don't have to take any drastic measures to do it. Clutch
Hmm.
helps a lot because it gives an unbiased review to people who are coming there, because they know how Clutch does it. The
Yeah.
same thing on the other side for customers is Glassdoor. So
Yeah.
Glassdoor is going to be an unbiased opinion about how your company is really doing from
Yeah.
the developer community or your employee
Yeah.
community, and
Yeah.
Clutch is for customers. It's important to keep both of them in sync, and you
Yeah.
can never get it right either way. You have one
Yeah.
customer who will intentionally give you a 1 star
Better
rating.
view.
There's nothing you can do
Yeah.
about it. And there'll be
I
some
know.
customer, there's some employee who's going to complain anyway. It doesn't matter.
I know. We've had 5.0 for like 4 years, and we've really maximized every customer, like making sure that every relationship is great. And then we've got to something like, I think like 100 top 5 star reviews. We get it up to insanely. And then there was a rotten egg or a relationship that didn't go as planned,
Yeah.
and he's like 0.5 and the rating bam. And we were like, oh.
Yeah, but there's
And
nothing
there's
you
no
can
way you
do
can do
about it.
anything about it. There's no way
Yes.
anything you can do about it. That's true. That's true. So those that have 4.1 rating, for example, then they've done more bad work than good one. But it's still all right. So I know we have just a few minutes. So one of the final questions. Can you tell me some of your business metrics or some industry metrics in terms of year-to-year growth for companies like yourself? Maybe your typically the cost of service in the P&L on average. What is the good benchmark? What is the good benchmark for the margin, cost margin? What is the good you know average for direct indirect costs? Something that people can take to say like, okay, am I operationally efficient as Gautam and the team or not?
So in the first, uh, so let me start not year wise, but company scale wise in terms of employees. When
Hmm.
we were about around the 50 people mark, we were growing in revenues and profitability. It's important to measure both. We were growing
Hmm.
almost 100% in revenues year on year,
Year
which
on
doesn't
year.
mean
Hmm.
much because you're a small company. But our
Right.
profitability was also increasing linearly, not exponentially, like 100%
Yeah.
year on year for till about where we are about 50, till we reached about 80 100 people. Then it
Hmm.
starts slowing down to maybe say about 60 70% year on year. And
Year on year.
profitability
Hmm.
also, you should be always in the range of maybe about 30% EBITDA.
Yeah.
Once we crossed our 200% mark, right?
Hmm.
At one particular point, we hit a plateau. So we plateaued out. So
Right.
so we hit a plateau and then went up again. And last year again, we've hit a little bit of a slump because of whatever situation. And I don't blame this. I mean, it's very easy to blame COVID. COVID has nothing to do with all this. So COVID seems to be the reason for everyone's misery, for everything that happens.
Yeah.
But I think COVID was brilliant for us. All
Yeah.
said
It
and
was
done,
good for a lot of companies. Yeah.
it was good for technology. It was good for technology companies. So we
Yeah.
scaled up
That's true.
there. Then again, we slumped a little because we wanted to stabilize the systems. So
Hmm.
suddenly, if you grow too much, you need to take a breather and just settle down where you are. Then we somewhere you hit maybe an organizational hiccup. Somebody
Hmm.
quits. Somebody has some different ideas. Somebody has different ideologies. Such kind of things will also happen once you start hitting the 200, 300 people scale, because then becomes not a business problem, also becomes a people company. So people problems. After that, you start hitting one particular level of stability. So we've been stable around this mark for now about 2 years. This year
Hmm.
it will scale up again, and next year we should probably go higher, then again stabilize for a couple of years.
So it's
So
like
it has
about
steps.
20% year. So it's about 20%, 20-25% year to year, right?
Yeah,
Is that the
it's
case?
okay even if you don't grow in couple of years.
Oh yeah,
So every
absolutely.
2 3
Yeah.
years you can go flat, you can plateau and stabilize and then grow again. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is just growing in revenue is not a measure once your company hits a particular scale. But bottom line and positive cash flow, or free cash flow as we call it, these are the critical metrics that need to be measured when you start getting slightly larger company.
And then when you say like the EBITDA, it should be like around 30% on a good day, and it can go up to 20% on a bad day or a bad year, basically.
Yeah,
Then cost of service, if you measure direct costs, should be, some say 50%, some say
50%.
40%, like
Yeah,
50%.
we are around 50 to 55% of direct cost, which means the salary to revenue
Yeah,
ratio is around between
yeah.
50 to 55%
Okay.
direct cost.
And then CAC, and then acquisition cost, around 10% sales and marketing, or more than that?
So currently, we are slightly lesser than that. We are somewhere around the 8% mark
8%.
for
Gotcha.
sales and
Gotcha.
marketing.
Gotcha.
Our
All right.
employee benefits, so the office and all these kind
Yeah.
of things, that consumes a little more than what is usually the
That's
industry standard. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's something that is never enough in our
yeah,
line of business. You always need
every
more,
so
right?
it's like, every year except last year, we go to Goa for like a whole annual picnic, taking the whole company, staying in some
Nice.
fancy hotel. You're like
Yeah.
200, 300 people
So
there.
cool.
We end up spending a shitload of money there, but it's
I
completely worth it.
imagine.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's worth
absolutely.
it to bring up the entire, bring the Josh back into Josh.
Yeah, I love that so much. All right, before I let you go, just a quick, what one advice would you give to someone that wants to build professional service company, enjoy it, live it, do it in your industry, in my industry, in any other industry? Like one advice you would give to us, to um, younger agency owners like yourself and myself.
I would say, yeah, focus on your area of strength. A lot of times people try to run too fast in different directions. Do one thing,
Yeah,
but do it well. It's that simple. So because the reputation will take you a long way. So if you focus on one particular thing and do it really well, there is enough business for you to really become the specialist, for people to recognize you as a specialist, and then there's no looking back.
I love that. Gautam, thank you so much for joining from zero to agency hero. You guys rock, and I love to learn more. And generally, I'm inspired by your story and the Josh software and what you guys are building. So thank you so much for joining me and giving this insanely quality knowledge sharing to me and the audience. Appreciate you, man.
My
All right.
my pleasure, Michael. Thank you so much.